Welcome to the Learn to Sew Academy channel. Please remember to subscribe. Thank you.
We're going to be learning how to gather a regular fabric with elastic thread, and this is the look that we are aiming for. If you'd like to know how to do this, then keep watching. In this short video, we're just going to learn how to gather with elastic thread. So what we're trying to do is to show you how to turn your regular fabric into something that is gathered and elastic. And what we're gonna be using is elastic thread. They come in different brands, and they also come in different colors. Up here I have my regular thread, and for my setting I just have 3.5 right here, and I'm just doing a straight stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the thread, either you're using the white or the black, and we just want to manually wrap it around your bobbin. You can either pass it first through the hole, but I just wanted to wrap it around like this. You can also wind this the same way you do your regular thread. Some don't have much luck with that, but I've tried that too before, just winding in the way we do the regular thread, and that worked too. But I'm just going to hand wind this. And when you hand wind this, you don't want to pull the elastic as you wind it. You just want to leave it and just naturally wind it, wrap it around. When you have enough in your bobbin, you can then cut the thread. So like I mentioned, again, your regular thread is going to be the one you thread in the upper part of the sewing machine. Your elastic thread in the bobbin goes under. What I've noticed with most of these broader sewing machines is when you just drop your bobbin in and you try sewing, you thread the machine and you start sewing, it doesn't really form the gathers that we're looking for. Most times it just gives you a very loose stitch. So that is why we need to remove the plates and remove the bobbin case first. Gently remove the plate. So the way to do this is I have to remove this bobbin case in here, and when you do that, just make sure you note how this is before you remove it so that it's easy for you to put it right back. What I want to do is when you put it in, because it's a drop in bobbin, you have to drop it in looking like a P, like that, so the thread tail is to the left. So I'm gonna drop this in, and you can see right here, you see that? That's where we're trying to catch the thread through. We're just doing the same thing you would do when you're doing a regular thread, but we're just trying to make sure our elastic passes through, because again, like I've noticed when I try to do it without removing this, it doesn't work. I'm pulling it to make sure, you know, it has to be rolling freely. So when that is done, now I'm gonna put this back, and as I put this back, this arrow, white arrow right here, has to match with the white circle, white dot right there. So depending on your sewing machine, it may be a little bit different. So I have that in there now, and my thread is still in place. So I'm just going to push this all in, all of that thread. I'm gonna keep it in. And now before I proceed, I'm just going to test it to make sure that it can pull out my elastic thread. So you can see that it did. So now I'm going to put back the plate. Just make sure that that locks in place. And then I can now put back my plate to cover the bobbin. So we're just going to test this and you'll see how you gather your regular fabric with an elastic thread. Starting from the edge of the fabric, you start to sew the way you would normally sew. And as you can see, I did a back stitch right at the beginning. It's okay to do that when you start doing your gathers with the elastic thread. As you begin, the first line may not look too stretchy, but the more you do the next rows, the more you'll see the effect. So as you end over here, you also want to do a back stitch at the very end. This is what the first layer looks like. Now using the first line as a guide, I'm just going to place my needle so that my foot is right on the first line I did. So this is how I'm going to be guiding it so that I have an equal amount. So I'm going to be having maybe like a quarter of an inch apart. So I'm just going to continue like that. So when I go to the next one too, I will use the last line using my thread to guide me, the white thread right here. So I'll use that and I'll make sure that it's lining up with the side of my presser foot. And as you start to sew it, because already this is gathered, as you start to sew it, you may have to gently open up the gathers here so that you are able to gather the fabric. So you may just use your hand to make sure it's smoothened as you start to do this for the next lines. If you like, you can start with a backstitch, or if you like, you can leave it without doing a backstitch, especially if you're going to be joining it on the sides. But just to be on the safe side, you may want to do the backstitch. Another thing you can do is before you start to sew, you can also put lines. You can draw straight lines to guide you if you want to do that. Well, in that case, you may end up having some marks on your fabric. So I just like to guide it with my presser foot and the line I have. That works better for me. And of course, it also depends on how much you want between one stitch and the next stitch. And so far, this is what it's beginning to look like. This is what it's looking like after 3 rows. What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue doing this, but it depends on you and what you're doing. And this is such a versatile design. You can use this, for sleeves, for instance. If you wanted to make a sleeve and you wanted to gather the edge of the sleeve, let's assume this is where your hand come out from, so you can use this at the end of your sleeve. You can use it in the middle of your project. Maybe you're making a dress, you can use it right in the middle there. You can use it in the beginning of a skirt. So you can use it for different things. So I'm going to continue and I'm going to show you what I have at the end of this. Oh, and this is what the other side of it looks like. I've decided to use the black thread I already had in one of the bobbins, the black elastic thread I had in one of the bobbins, so I can use up that thread as well. So this is what the back of it looks like. As you work on this, whenever your bobbin ends, just repeat the process, rewind the bobbin, look for where the stitch ended and start from there. Do a back stitch and continue sewing. This is what it looks like after I'm done with this project. As you can see, I did quite a bit. I used it for all of the top of the romper I'm working on. And this is what the back looks like. Now, if you would like to see the style that I use this for, which is what I'm showing you right now, you can look in the description to see how we made the style. This can also be used for a jumpsuit, romper, or a dress. Thanks for watching. Check the link in the description to see how to make this, and don't forget to subscribe.